Good evening, everyone. I am Shivani from English Department, first year. Today, I am going to talk about types of curriculum learner center. What is learner centered teaching? An approach to teaching the focus on the student as a learner rather than the transmission of information. Searches for ethically responsible ways to share power with students. Focus on helping students become self directed learners is not intended to diminish the importance of the instructional side of the online and or on ground classroom experience, but instead instructions is worded to include other activities that produce desirable learning outcomes. Next, why implement learner centered teaching? Research shows that learner centered teaching leads to increased student engagement with the content, increased student learning, and long term retention. Myths about learner centered teaching: it removes the central role of teacher as a prime mover of the educational experience. It is essentially a technology centered intensive leading to increased forms of descriptive and distance learning and on abandonment of classroom based instructions. Essential concepts about learner centered teaching. Teacher centered and learner centered teaching are not either or situations but a series of continua. Courses can be at different points along the centered continua. Transition to learner centered teaching takes time and effort, easier and more practical to make incremental steps towards learner centered teaching. 5 practices need to be modified to achieve learner centered teaching. First one, the function of content, the role of the teacher, the responsible for learning, the process and purpose of evaluation, and the last, the balance of power. First, the function of content. In addition to building a knowledge base, the content should facilitate students to practice using inquiry or ways of thinking in their discipline. Learn to solve real problems. Understand the function of the content and why it is learned. Build discipline specific learning methodologies. Build an appreciation for value of content. The role of the teacher. The teacher creates an environment that fosters student learning, accommodates different learning styles, motivates students to accept responsibilities for learning. The responsibility for learning. Responsibility is shared between the teacher and the student. Students develop learning skills for the further learning. Students became self-directed lifelong learners. Students can and do assess their own learning. Students became proficient at self-assessment. Students become proficient with all information literacy skills, for example, assessing and evaluating sources using information legally. The balance of power. Students are encouraged to explore additional content. Students are encouraged to express alternative perspectives whenever appropriate. Assessments are open ended. Policies and deadlines are negotiated and adhered to. Students take advantages of opportunities to learn. How can I implement learner centered teaching my classroom? Create rubrics on 5 practice area. First rubric for each practice area. The functions of content, the role of the teacher, the responsibility for learning, the process and purpose of evaluation, the balance of power. Courses can be at different points on each practice certification within each rubric. Thank you. These are the reference I added. Thank you and have a nice day.